Hello, and welcome to this edition of Behind the Badge. I'm Christy Hopkins, Director of Media and Public Relations for the Harford County Sheriff's Office. We're taking you all over Harford County on today's edition of Behind the Badge, giving you an up-close and personal tour of what our Harford County Sheriff's deputies do on a daily basis, keeping you and your loved ones safe and secure in your communities. Law enforcement agencies all across the country are amping up their training programs and procedures in response to active assailant incidents, and Harford County is right there on the cutting edge. Let's catch up with Senior Deputy Jeremy Mothershed, who'll explain the techniques and the tactics Harford County Sheriff's deputies are using when responding to these tragic events.
Hello, I am Senior Deputy Jeremy Mothershed of the Harford County Sheriff's Office. Today, I'm here to speak to you about the Rescue Task Force program, which is the law enforcement, fire, and EMS integration process for a response to active assailant incidents. The Rescue Task Force team allows EMS providers to team up with law enforcement to go into a building where we know that there are already injured individuals in that building. The initial response from law enforcement has already went in. They've cleared that area, so now on the back end of that, the EMS providers are teaming up with law enforcement to go in to make that initial assessment and begin treating those injured that are already in the building that require immediate help. So there's two phases of the Rescue Task Force. Initially, the law enforcement response is to go into the building and actually neutralize or locate that threat and stop that threat as quickly as possible. They are then supported by additional law enforcement and then teams of EMS providers to come in and begin that assessment of the wounded individuals in the building. They then stop the bleed, they deal with those immediate life-saving interventions that are required at that point, while the first phase of law enforcement is still actually dealing with and securing that building or that structure. Columbine marked the turning point for our response to active assailant incidents in the nation. We found that by sitting outside and waiting for law enforcement to clear a building, that people were suffering, and we do not want that to continue. So what we have done nationally is develop these types of programs so we can actually get in and stop that dying process and help the wounded individuals. Since then, we have demonstrated that it does work. It is a mind shift change for a lot of our personnel and providers, but it is something that is a necessary evil for us to really grasp and get a hold of and allow those efforts to move forward to make us and our providers successful and also to save those lives. In 2016, we rolled out our initial training program, which incorporated all of our commanders from fire and EMS as well as law enforcement, and it proved to be effective. 24 days after our initial class, our advance granted occurred, and then we were followed that by 1 year later, a Rite Aid distribution incident occurred as well. Both of those tested our providers and our responses and proved to be very successful by saving lives. Here at the Harford County Sheriff's Office, we have one goal, and that is to save lives. To do so, we improve our training, enhance our tactics. The final end result is to make you safe.
Over at the Harford County Detention Center, the well-being of our inmates is one of our top priorities, whether they're inside the facility or being transported to other locations. Let's find out how deputies assigned to our transport unit move inmates outside our facility safely and securely.
Each day, inmates at the Harford County Detention Center are required to be transported to outside medical appointments, as well as in-county and out-of-county court appearances. I'm Sergeant John Jenkins with the Harford County Sheriff's Office Inmate Transportation Unit. It's my unit's job to make sure that these inmates are transported safely and on time to these appointments. The Harford County Sheriff's Office Inmate Transportation Unit is comprised of 6 full-time deputies and 2 supervisors. These 8 people are tasked with transporting inmates throughout the entire state of Maryland, from Wycomico County to Washington County and every other county in between. It's our responsibility to ensure this happens, and we do this at approximately 15 or 20 inmates per day. Prior to transportation, it's important that we ensure the inmate is not carrying any type of contraband or any type of weapon that could be used to harm us while we're conducting the transport. You turn around, hands out in front of you like this. Just secure their wrists with handcuffs. This box covers the handcuffs to ensure that no tampering can be done with the keyholes or anything of that matter. Belly chain will secure the black box to the belly area to keep them from being too mobile. Spin to your left. And then they'll get secured behind the back with a padlock. This is the same process for every inmate every time they leave the facility. No matter where they're going, no matter what their classification or their security level, everybody is secured in the same manner when they leave the facility. Okay. Turn this way. Walk this way. In 2018, the transportation unit performed over 5,400 inmate transports. It's the primary goal of the transportation unit to maintain care, custody, and control of inmates while being transported outside of the facility. And to ensure the safety of the Harford County residents.
In an effort to combat heroin addiction, Harford County is educating young children about the dangers of this addictive and deadly drug. Let's find out how.
Hello, my name is Sergeant Aaron Pemna with the Harford County Sheriff's Office Community Services Division, and I'm here to talk to you about the Pledge Program. The heroin epidemic is being fought on multiple fronts through enforcement and rehabilitation, but education may be the most important component. The Pledge Program was developed to educate young children from ages 8 to 11, 3rd to 5th grades about the foundations and awareness of drugs. Student surveys have shown that children in the 6th grade level are using marijuana. In fact, 4.3% of students in the 6th grade level have used marijuana in the last 30 days. So the design of the Pledge Program is to provide that foundational education for ages 8 to 11, 3rd to 5th grades. That awareness where they know what drugs are, they know the dangers of drugs. We have recovering drug addicts and family members that have been affected by the drug crisis come in and give testimonials. We also have scenario-based training where we have other kids come in and act out different peer pressure scenes. So these kids recognize peer pressure, they understand peer pressure, they're able to develop coping skills to overcome peer pressure and the excuses that they can use to not use drugs. At the end of the program, we want to reward these kids with a graduation and a certificate where they're able to meet the sheriff and meet the county executive and earn a pledge coin. So throughout life, their parents can have those conversations, remind them of the pledge they've taken to stay away from drugs. So one of the other reasons the Pledge Program was developed, at the different community events that we attended, parents would ask, how do I have that conversation with our kids about drugs and when to have the conversation with our kids about drugs? And that's one of the reasons the Pledge Program was developed. If you or your child are interested in the Pledge Program, please reach out to the Harford County Sheriff's Office Community Policing Unit. You can email me at penmane@harfordsheriff.org or call me at 410-638-4486. I look forward to seeing you and your child. Thank you so much.
From our dining and shopping, to our rich history, to everything water, to the decor capital of the world.
Come have a ball and have it great.
A great place to live, work, and play. Come discover and explore HaverdeGrace.com.
Welcome back to Behind the Badge. Earlier this year, we recognized National Child Abuse Prevention Month, an effort to raise awareness of child abuse, how to recognize it, and how to report it. Let's find out more from Detective Carrie Garris.
Every year in April, we recognize National Child Abuse Prevention Month. Hi, my name is Detective Carrie Garris, and I'm an investigator here at the Child Advocacy Center. Today I'm going to talk with you a little bit about a subject matter that can be difficult to discuss, but something that we need to put a spotlight on so that we can work together to protect our kids. There are 4 different types of child abuse, and they're categorized as neglect, physical, sexual, and emotional. Physical child abuse is defined as an injury that is calls to a child. It can be anything from a bruise to a fracture or even death. Usually we consider those non-accidental injuries, where there's no explanation as to how the injury was occurred. Sexual abuse, of course, can be described in many different ways, but the kind of blanket description would be anything or anyone that's using a child for sexual gratification. Child neglect is when the basic needs of a child are not being met by the caregiver. And emotional neglect is something that impairs the emotional development of a child. If you think a child is being abused, there are many different options you have for reporting it. If you'd like to be anonymous, you can do that. You can call Child Protective Services, give them the information, and you'll remain anonymous in that report. If you think a child is in immediate danger, you need to call 911 so that you can keep that child safe. There are many different options you have. There are websites. You can go to harfordcac.org to get more information, but the important thing is to trust your gut, and if you think a child is in danger, you need to say something and you need to make that call. I recognize that this is a difficult topic to talk about, but it is happening in our community. We need to keep our kids safe and we need to work together to do so. If you see a kid or you suspect that a child is being abused, please call.
The Harford County Child Advocacy Center is a nationally accredited model that is making sure we're doing what is in the best interest of a child at risk. Lieutenant Vito Menzel is here to tell us more.
Here at the Child Advocacy Center, our job is to protect our most vulnerable citizens, our children. Hi, I'm Lieutenant Vito Menzel, Program Director for the Harford County Child Advocacy Center, and I want to introduce you to our CAC today. Well, to understand what a CAC is, you have to understand what a child's path would be like without a CAC. Prior to CACs, children who reported abuse would have to tell their story to a teacher, to a police officer, to a social worker, to a prosecutor, to a therapist, to the courts, and they were re-traumatized by the system over and over again. CACs were created to combine all of those resources into one child-friendly location where the child and their family can come and get the services they need all at one time. There are some basic principles by which all CACs operate. First is a trauma-informed approach. We believe in putting the child before any other aspect of the investigation. The safety and well-being of that child is paramount. Second is a multidisciplinary response. In Harford County, that means we have Sheriff's Office, State Police, State's Attorney's Office, Department of Social Services workers, family and victim advocates, medical and mental health providers, all collaborating in that child's case. Third, best practices. Our Child Advocacy Center is accredited by the National Children's Alliance, the body which accredits all CACs across the nation. They hold us accountable for 10 national standards, which make sure we are doing what is in the best interest of that child at all times. And fourth, we are child-friendly. We are not a law enforcement installation. We have murals on the walls, soft furnishings, a playroom, therapy animals. We want that child's experience while they're here to be the best possible. The Child Advocacy Center receives cases one of two ways, either as a call for service to local law enforcement or as a referral for an allegation of abuse to the Harford County Department of Social Services Child Protective Services. Once a case is received, families will come to our waiting room. They'll be greeted by a victim advocate where they'll be escorted to our playroom, sometimes met by one of our therapy animals, and there they will be introduced to the investigative team who will explain the process for them. While here, children may have to participate in a forensic interview, which is a non-leading evidence-based technique for interviewing children. They may also be referred for a medical examination or be referred to mental health services. If the case progresses to the point that charges are filed, the family and the child will be able to meet with the prosecutor assigned to their case here at the Child Advocacy Center. Victim advocates with the State's Attorney's Office will help prepare that child and their family for the rigors of trial. And when the trial date comes, the family will be able to gather here, be escorted to court by our staff, and we can even provide therapy animals for testimony at court through the Courthouse Canines pilot program. We have been in existence 25 years protecting our community's children. For more information, visit harfordcac.org. Thank you and stay safe.
Earlier this year, we caught up with Bike Coordinator Senior Deputy Rich Dean, who is getting his bike ready to hit the pavement. He's got some important safety tips for all of us.
I'm Senior Deputy Rich Dean with the Harford County Sheriff's Office. I'm currently the agency's Bike Patrol Coordinator. I'm going to go over some bike safety tips with you. The first thing I'm going to do as the season starts, after your bike has been stored either in the shed or the garage of the season, is do a pre-ride inspection to make sure everything's working properly. As a pre-ride inspection, the first thing that we usually check is our tire pressure, making sure that it's not underinflated from sitting over the winter. The next thing you want to check is your brakes. If you have the brakes up on the handles, you want to make sure both the left and right are working properly. If they're on the pedals, you want to make sure they're working properly also. The next thing you're going to want to check is your chain. Make sure it's clear from any debris from your last ride, and then make sure it's running smoothly. Often there's confusion about who's required to wear a helmet when riding on the roadways. Maryland law requires anyone under the age of 16 that's riding a bike on public roadway wear a helmet. Harford County Sheriff's Office encourages everyone to wear a helmet for their safety. Maryland law considers a bicycle a vehicle. Therefore, you're required to follow all traffic laws such as stopping at stop signs and riding with the flow of traffic. You always want to make sure you utilize your hand signals also to let the driver anticipate your next move. For example, this will be your left turn signal, your right turn signal, and this would be stopping or slowing. When out on your bike rides, look ahead at potential hazards, such as debris, pedestrians, and loose gravel. Follow these safety tips and you have a happy, fun biking season.
We'd also like to take a moment to congratulate Senior Deputy Rich Dean for going beyond the badge. For the second year in a row, the Harford County Sheriff's Office deputy was awarded the National Sheriff's Association Deputy of the Year Bud Meek Mills Award for Merit. This year, Senior Deputy Dean was recognized for his tireless service and dedication to our community. Beyond being a regularly recognized and highly respected member of our agency, Senior Deputy Dean also spends much of his time outside of work volunteering to help those in his community who are in need. Congratulations, Senior Deputy Dean. You have made all of Harford County very proud. Welcome back to Behind the Badge. We've got a special treat for you today, a ride-along with the manager of our Animal Control Unit. Let's find out what our Animal Control officers do and what their typical day is like.
Hello, my name is Kevin Cajigas and I'm the Animal Control Manager for the Harford County Sheriff's Office Animal Control Unit. A lot of people don't know we actually belong to the Sheriff's Office. We have been together now for 4 years and I've been the manager for 3 years. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I do on my daily basis. So let's go, let's take a ride together. Normally we will get calls for loose dogs or, for example, humane investigations that entail us going and checking out that a dog is actually well taken care of. In Harford County, you can keep your dog outside. It's not required by law to always have it inside, but the thing is it has to have the proper provisions. So what proper provisions mean is having the right length of chain, having the right area for the animal for the inclements of the weather. So meaning that it has to have the proper shelter, has to have bedding, the shelter has to be raising up, it has to have food and water available. You know, little things like that we actually provide also to the citizen or the owner when we actually visit them. So normally when we pick up a dog, we actually bring it here to the Humane Society of Harford County. So right now we actually have a dog, a passenger inside. Her name is Vivi. We actually found her running loose as a stray, and she's right now gonna come with us inside the building. So I'm gonna walk you through a little bit of how exactly we do this kind of process. So right now I had to go in, try to get her with the leash. Right now, normally dogs are pretty nice. She's actually a pretty nice dog. Not every dog is this nice, so sometimes we have to be a little bit more forceful using our poles that I'm pretty sure you're familiar with. So right now, Phoebe's been a very good dog since we actually got her. So right now, I'm just gonna put my leash on her, and then we're gonna walk her inside the building. Where's your baby? Where's your mamas? It's okay. Okay, there we go. Being a little bit more difficult. Come on, baby. Come on. Let's go back and see her. Come on. So now we're gonna go inside the building. Come on, baby. Come on, this way. So in here, we actually have the animal control area where we have 3 cages that we can come in and we have access to 24/7. So when we're working on call or working overnight, or if something has happened that we need to pick up an animal, we will bring it over here. Come on, Phoebe. Come on, it's okay. Come on, let's go, Bane. Come on, Crate. Crate. Hey, cease. Hey. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl. No, no, no. Normally we have these locks where we can safely secure the animal, and we will give them food and water so they can get settled down and spend the night. In the morning, normally we will actually have a person come in from the vet tech area, and they will take care of the animal. Over here in this area, let's say that we picked up a group of cats from a hoarding situation, or we have cats that were found stray running loose. We actually have cages also for them prepared. Vivi right now is trying to participate on the video. It's okay, Vivi's. You know, we see a lot of different things. I'm pretty sure everybody, you know, sees our posts in social media, especially if you don't follow the sheriff's office. Social media, you will see a lot of our posts with our pictures, from cows in the roadway to loose horses to pigs running in neighborhoods in Forest Hill. You know, we have been through everything. Normally, you get a call for an animal, it will go through our dispatch center, and from our dispatch, we will get, you know, that call, and we will go ahead and respond. Normally, you know, people ask, like, what exactly you need to be an animal control officer? And I always tell them, you know, you have to have a big passion, first of all, for animals and people alike. Because you're not only going to be dealing with the animals, you're always going to be also dealing with those owners, with those people, interacting with those people, teaching those people. And that's something that is very, very valuable as a sheriff, working with the sheriff's office. Even though we're not deputies, we still are very passionate of our jobs. I remember my first day as an animal control manager. I was riding along with one of our officers, and we got a call for, you know, a person heard like a little kitten or something in a backyard, and you know, we went ahead and investigated. And when we actually started investigating, we found this tiny little baby raccoon inside a mattress in a backyard, and apparently got trapped inside the mattress, and we actually managed to get that baby raccoon out of there and take her to one of our wildlife rehabbers. And it was like, since that day I knew that, you know, I was in the right job. Biggest challenges that we encounter in this kind of job, obviously, it's called compassion fatigue. So normally, yes, not everything is puppies and baby animals. We're gonna see very hardship cases where we go and investigate, for example, a dog that hasn't been fed for a week, or we have animals that have been living tied outside without the proper provisions for their whole lives. And that's where, you know, you have to go in and you have to get in with the right mindset of, you know what, I'm helping the animal, but possibly the citizen doesn't understand the right way of taking care of an animal. So sometimes, yes, it will get to you. Sometimes, you know, you're gonna feel anger, but you always have to remember to keep a level head when you're handling cases like this. That's what we do. That's where we go and take care of this kind of cases. That's why, you know, we have great partnerships with the state's attorneys and the judges, and, you know, we will go ahead, and if we have to file charges, we'll go ahead and file charges. If we have to issue citations, we will issue citations. Like I told you, every day is different. We're gonna have days where it's very, very busy. We're gonna have days where it's not that busy. And those are the days where we actually try to go out and interact with people. So if you don't see us in a house answering a call, you're gonna see us possibly in a park. You're gonna see us, you know, interacting with as much people as we can, because if we get to educate now, we actually can change the perception of the famous dog catcher. Normally, you know, people always ask, oh yeah, no, you're like the dog catcher. No, you take animals and you put it down. And I'm like, never. I would never put an animal down, just because I can tell you right now, you know, I can have the most difficult animal trying to bite and trying to scratch and trying to do everything, and I know that he's scared. And just like a little kid, you know, they're gonna try to fight back. And my job is to make sure that, you know, I bring those animals to safety. I bring those animals to a place where they don't have to fight anymore, where they're actually gonna get fed, where they're actually gonna, spend the rest of their lives and hopefully find a great home. So now you have an idea of what we do in animal control. If you see an animal suffering or going through a very rough situation, please give us a call. Our phone number, 410-638-3505. Again, thank you for spending the day with us in animal control.
Let's check in now with our cold case file. On January 9th, 1987, an unidentified Asian male was found shot to death along Route 24 in Harford County. He was described as being approximately 20 to 30 years old, 5'7" in height, and 134 pounds in weight. He was found tied up with rope and wrapped in a bed sheet and plastic wrap. Detectives continue the investigation into this crime. However, there are currently no suspects in this case. If you have information about this case, call us or submit an anonymous tip at our hotline. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Behind the Badge. We have lots more to share with you about who we are, what we do, and how we keep you and your family safe here in Harford County. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram for more information about our agency between episodes. Until next time, for Behind the Badge, I'm Christy Hopkins.